Welcome to the Root Cause Revolution podcast with functional and integrative nurse nutritionist and energy medicine practitioner, Audrey Friday.
Welcome to episode 269 of the Root Cause Revolution podcast. Today we're answering your questions. It's an Ask Audrey Friday episode. So real quick, if you are new here, welcome. I'm your host, Audrey. I am a root cause clinician and I specialize in helping you to stop masking symptoms and start healing for good. So if you're done with Band-Aids, you're ready for real healing solutions, I can help. All right, let's dive in. The first question says, good morning. My husband will have a CT scan every 3 months for the next 2 years. I'm thinking I'm going to use Epsom salt foot baths, increasing his water intake the day before and after, super clean eating to flush out any dye that he has to drink. Anything else that would help would be appreciated. All right, this is a really good question. So there's a number of different things that you can use to flush out a system. One of the things that I always recommend as a whole food solution is having a daily smoothie that is absolutely packed full of leafy greens and wild blueberries. It's really simple. You don't have to have any fancy powders or protein powder or, anything weird. All you need is a blender, clean filtered water. I like to use smoothie greens or spring mix salad greens, or just spinach will work too. You want to make sure that's organic. You want to get yourself a bag of frozen blueberries. And then I like to put half a banana or a whole banana in, depending on how much sweetness that you need to kind of cover up the greens taste. It's going to make a really gnarly looking green smoothie, but if you can drink one of those every single day, whether or not you're having CT scans and you're trying to get rid of dyes or not, that will take care of the problem. Now, it's super detoxing. Now, I happen to know a little bit of history on the person that asked this question, as well as the husband that she is asking about. And so for this particular case, I'm actually going to recommend something a little bit different. And this is what I would recommend for my dad if my dad was going to do it, because I know that there is no way on God's green earth I'm going to get him to drink a vegetable smoothie with wild blueberries in it every single day. So what I would suggest instead is something called Virad Chem Binder. And what a binder does is float around through your body after you take it and bind up all those chemicals that are not supposed to be there. This one is specifically targeted, Virad Chem, on viruses, radiology, chemicals, that sort of thing. So you're going to take 2 capsules twice a day, 3 days before and 3 days after each scan. You can find Cellcore linked on the show notes below this episode. It does take a practitioner code to use, so you might have to reach out. Just like anything here, it's really important to remember, and the person that asked the question did, of course, say this, a really clean diet and lots of water. That is the foundation for anything. You really can't out-supplement a bad diet. And sometimes it can be hard to out-supplement something like having to have regular CT scans, 4 CT scans a year. But you can, in fact, help it as much as you can. It's much better to help it in this way than to not mitigate it at all. All right, question number 2 is, what's your thoughts on castor oil packs? Someone has mentioned these to me to cleanse the liver and facilitate weight loss. Okay, so overall, my answer is they are great. Castor oil packs are really easy, effective home therapy that you can do on a regular basis, and they really help to improve your lymphatic drainage and to detoxify your body. There are, of course, some nuances to remember. First, let's start with what they're doing. We know that, like I said, the lymphatic system is the sewer system of the body, if you will. It's where the toxins and infections and metals and dead cells and debris from all of the body are collected. They go into the lymphatic system and then they're brought to your liver for filtering. And then from your liver, they get emptied out into the colon. When our lymphatic system isn't working very well, waste and toxins can build up in the body, right? They lead to things like an insufficient immune system. They can lead to ineffective bowel movements. So you could be having a bowel movement, but not releasing the toxins that you need to. They can increase when your lymphatic system is not working effectively, it can increase your food sensitivities. And ultimately you land in inflammation and disease. We've talked about the drainage funnel before, and if the lymphatic system isn't working, nothing below it in the funnel is getting out, okay? Castor oil packs aren't going to fix it all, but they are a really, really useful tool. When you're buying castor oil, you really have to be careful. A lot of the castor oil sold on the market today is from heavily sprayed pesticide seeds, which contaminate the oil, and they're just adding more toxins to the body. So I recommend getting pure organic castor oil that has been cold pressed and it is hexane free. Okay. Now, aside from your organic cold pressed hexane free castor oil, you're also going to need some sort of flannel cloth, preferably white, large enough, or cotton cloth large enough to cover the area. You're going to need some kind of waterproof covering. So a lot of people just use saran wrap. That's totally fine. You can also buy a wrap that covers a specific castor oil pack wrap. And then you'll either need a heating pad or a water bottle, or be able to leave that castor oil pack on longer. So all you do is put a little bit of castor oil on that flannel cloth, put the cloth over your liver. So that's going to be on the right side of your body, just around the bottom of your rib cage, but above your hip. Then you wrap it up, and then you put the hot water bottle or heating pad over it. You want to stay there for about an hour. You want to leave it on for about an hour. What I like to do is do it at night. Because it doesn't bother me to sleep in it. So I'll wrap it up in a castor oil pack. I will add a heating pad for the last little bit while I'm awake, and then I go to bed with it. I do not go to bed with the heating pad because that can result in a burn. Then, you want to do that for a couple of days in a row. Usually people notice some immediate benefits like skin clearing up and better sleep within the first night or two. After that, you can kind of set it aside and come back to it. It can be a good habit to add once a month or once a quarter as sort of a maintenance thing. I just use a towel, an organic cotton towel that I don't mind ruining. They're not very expensive. I keep it in a glass mason jar. So after I'm done with my castor oil pack, I take that towel off, put it back in a glass mason jar, put it back up in the cabinet. But overall, it is a really good way to facilitate lymphatic and liver detox, and that facilitates a holistic weight loss program. Again, it can also help with sleep and skin issues. So thank you so much for tuning in to this Ask Audrey Friday episode. You can find all the links and information in the show notes below this episode, no matter what podcast platform you're listening to. If you have questions, you can drop them in the Wellness Circle, which is our free private Facebook group for holistic support for autoimmune and chronic illness, or you can check the link below and drop it in the questions form. Either way, I look forward to hearing from you. And as always, I am rooting for you, friend. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Root Cause Revolution podcast. Be sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Ratings and reviews are always appreciated.